I'm still every day learning the potential of who I am. And I feel this burning in my body that I'm supposed to do this thing. I hear you, that all logic, you make complete sense. But I'm still going to do this thing that I really believe in myself that I could do.
Hey everyone, Reyna Torres here, and I'm super excited that we have arrived at season 2 of the Women Creating Magic podcast. I run my own creative studio, and I wanted to create a platform for amazing women to have real conversations about our experience in the entertainment industry, and just talk about that moment that we decided to take control of our lives as women. A safe and open space to sit down comfortably with a cup of tea or a glass of wine to relax and have an open conversation about their experiences as women in the entertainment industry. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment, and leave a review because all of that will really help us out and keep us going. Today, I sat down with Rae James. She's a super creative vocalist, lyricist, and producer. Rae performs lead vocals for her band Rose Colored World, and our conversation was fun and engaging. Please welcome Rae James.
Just jumping in,
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you start everything?
So I was always singing. I come from a musical family. My dad plays drums. My mom sang. They were in a band together before I grew up. And I was never not singing. And then when I was 12, I started playing keys and kind of picking up instruments around the house that my dad had laying around. And when I was 15, I started gigging out and about by myself at different bars, and I wasn't even old enough to drive, so my dad would drop me off at a bar to play, and they asked me one time, "Are you 18?" I was like, "Well, I'm gonna be." Even though that was 3 years from then, I was like, "I'm gonna be 18," which wasn't a lie.
No, you're not lying.
Yeah.
You're like, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna, at some point, I will be 18. Soonish.
Oh, that's a loophole.
Yeah, a little loophole. But it was great because I got my chops up and I realized I absolutely adored playing live music in a space of people I didn't know. And when I would do that, I saw that people weren't thinking about their bills and they weren't thinking about their bullshit, and they were just present. And I didn't know that that's what was going on at that time because I was so young, but I just loved the energy of connecting to random strangers and seeing their vibrational responses after I was done singing. I'd be like, what just happened, And I was like, I want to do this forever. This is so cool. So I started doing more gigs around my hometown, got into Florida State for singing, was part of the music program for a bit there, changed my major, sang around the town there, kind of got my chops up there. And then a year after being in Miami, after I graduated, I started posting covers on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Someone messaged me being like, "Hey, I'll fly you out to LA." They were working for Def Jam at the time. "Hey, I'll fly you out to," and I was like, yeah, right. This is
you're kind of just what?
I'm like, yeah, you're gonna fly me to LA. And all of a sudden, there's a ticket in my email to come out to Los Angeles, and this was April of 2017, I want to say, and I was being flown out every 2 weeks from
so
Florida to here. It was super nuts, and I was every time I would go back home, all my momentum would be gone, all my motivation to want to create would be gone. I was seeing all this alignment when I would come to Los Angeles that would just not be there when I was home.
Oh.
And I was like,
you're like, this is not going to work out if I get this.
Yeah, I just felt a real big pull in my spirit to
you got to go over there.
Yeah, and then I was being flown out for another 2-week run. And I was on the plane. It was August 5th, 2017, so a little over 5 years. And in the air, I just felt in my body. I was like, I'm not going home. I'm supposed to just stay. And when I landed, I said to the guy, the liaison, I was like, "Hey, I'm supposed to live here, and if I stay for a couple months, I'm going to be a lot more productive than that." So
that was your aha moment.
Yeah,
that was you're like, I'm gonna control this, and I'm doing it.
I don't care how this has to happen, and the universe conspired with me to allow everything to happen because I had probably $300 to my name. I had graduated college, but didn't take a traditional path that my family maybe thought I would. They're like, "You just did formal education and now you're And I've been like, I've told you guys since I'm like 5, this is what I
Yeah.
wanted to do. I felt like I kind of, at the time, had to do the traditional.
Well, your parents being musicians, you're like, well, you guys should understand.
Right, and
that,
they
they
did.
but they just thought that you were going to in a different direction. You're like, no, well, the universe said this is the direction I'm going.
Right, and then when you
Yeah.
say that to somebody who, or both of them who, and they both always believed in me. They had belief in me since I'm a kid to now, and I'm very grateful for that because I know a lot of people didn't.
Yeah, they don't have that kind of support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful, but once you're 22, right, and you're graduating college, they're going, okay, well, now you're a full adult, like, and they're seeing also their friends' kids doing things and getting these jobs and
Yeah.
having security. They really wanted me to have security, and they
Yeah.
wanted me to be okay.
They want the best for you.
They wanted me to be
Yeah.
okay, and
Yeah.
I totally understood that, but I also, this is something I've learned as I've grown, is like, if I don't even know what I'm fully capable of, how are you supposed to know what I'm fully capable of? Like, if I'm still every day learning the potential of who I am, and I feel this burning in my body that I'm supposed to do this thing, I hear you, that all logic, you make complete sense, but I'm still going to do this thing that I really believe in myself that I could do.
Did you ever thought that what you just said right now is the same thing for your parents, doing what they're doing to you?
For sure.
Yeah. So they're also in the part where it's like, we don't know either, but we think this is the best. We don't know either.
Right.
So, yeah,
That dissonance.
everybody is always in that position where we're trying to, like, learn. How are we going to know?
Yeah,
How the heck are we going to know?
Yeah.
Same thing for your parents. How would they know? Like, they're just going based probably on, like, what they see.
And also,
Yeah.
like, what society's telling them, right? And
Yeah.
what society, like, for me, and part of my journey, since I'm a kid, since I'm playing in bars, I can't even count how many people, the music industry is a really hard industry to break into, or, it's really tough, or specifically for women, and
Yeah.
if I actually would have known how tough, I don't know if I would have made the exact same decision, because I went through some real life shit, but I couldn't be happier with where I am.
Would you change anything?
No, I wouldn't change
Exactly.
anything. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
But I think that goes
Yeah.
in life with everything. I think that goes with everything. Not just like, yes, this industry, especially for women, is a fucking bitch. You hear people. It is a freaking bitch. I'm like, bitch. And it's hard. It's really hard, but it's worth it. It's so worth it.
I think it's interesting too, like, I'm in a band of all guys, and up until recently, every time I've booked a show has been with a dude. In every situation, there's been a layer of masculine energy I've had to learn to bob and weave with, and learn to maneuver.
I feel like that is in every industry for women.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that you're saying that, because it's also in this industry when you're working with a bunch of men.
Totally, and
Yeah.
and it's no shade to
No,
all the dudes
no
in my
shades,
life, because I am surrounded now with, like, a community of strong, protective men too, that I feel like I have, like, a bunch of brothers out here and my partner, where I feel very safe in that.
Which is great.
But I didn't up until not that long ago.
So before it was, like, different. Yeah.
That's what's even crazier, is, like, also being surrounded by, like, me being in the band as opposed to me being a solo artist is so different too. Because I felt like as a solo artist, so many people would see that as an opportunity to take advantage of, or like, oh, she doesn't really have people that know, like, just trying to, like, be kind of snakes in the grass.
Yeah.
And
because you don't have anybody to...
and my family's not out here, right? So there's, like, all these opportunities.
It's like you're going to take your car to get it fixed with the mechanic. And if you go on your own, you feel like you're going to get swindled. But if you take a brother, a friend, who's a guy, you feel like you're not going to get swindled because there's somebody there, which sucks. Which I hate to say that, but it sucks. Same shit.
Yeah. And I think it's just identifying it and, like, having moments like this where it's open, honest dialogue, and it's not throwing shade. It's actually creating awareness of just, like, the struggle of being a woman in 2022, being a woman in any industry that you're in.
But I feel like
creating.
But I feel like now with, like, COVID had hit hard and everything that's going around, this is, like, a best time to being a woman right now. Like, it's trust me, there is a lot of bad things happening right now, but it's also, there's a lot of awareness. There's a lot of people speaking out.
Totally.
There's nobody's really staying quiet, which is awesome. Which is like, this is why we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So you're there, you're here, you made your decision, you have $300. Damn, you had $300.
I had $300 and a blow-up mattress. I lived on my blow-up mattress for 4 months, and I was taking any and every session I could possibly get, eating ramen every single day, and like I think back to some of that, and some of that was like my favorite memories I'll ever have in my life was from that time.
Do you ever like if you're past the aisle in the store and you see like a blow-up, like one of those beds, and you're just like,
It's funny you say that because it actually happened to me with ramen recently. I was on tour and we like went in somewhere and I saw the exact packaging of the one I used to eat like every day, and it's been years now, and I went, I'm getting that right now. And I ate it, and it brought back like this floodgate of all these sensory memories of like sitting on my like, and now I'm on tour with my band, and it was like a whole other,
it's a whole circle.
Yeah, it was a whole full circle thing where I was like, like, you know.
You're not sitting down like, what the fuck, where, I need to book this shit.
Yeah, or also being like, this was $2, so if I spend $2 here, I have $18 to get to my session tomorrow. Like, really, like, you know.
And then eating in, you're just like, I'm touring.
And how how I knew also, like, being in LA, like, talking about alignment, is I had a mutual friend introduced me to this guy named Zach. Out of Zach Smith, Wavy Trees, amazing band, introduced me to this guy named Zach, and I left a session in Hollywood. I went to Uber to where I was staying, and the Uber was like over $100 to get back to where I was staying. So I went, well, I guess I'll grab a drink. It's like happy hour. And so I went to the nearest bar near where that was. I grabbed a couple beers. I was walking out of the bar. My head was down to order an Uber, or look up the Uber now to hope that it wouldn't be as expensive. And I physically run into this guy, and it's Zach. Out of everybody in Los Angeles that I could have physically bumped into, that I had only met a week before, it's Zach. And I'm like, he's like, hey, what are you doing? Do you want to go jam on my roof for sunset? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great, right? And then, like, meeting him, then I meet somebody else that's part of, then I'm having a session with them, and 6 weeks later is how I met Addison, my partner, who I'm now in a band with and share a life with, and it's like through following the bliss, following the magic, not be, like, feel the fear and then do it anyway, is like been something that, like, I'm not scared to do things, or like not like, it's scary being in a new space, you know, but feel the fear and then just decide you're gonna do it anyway. Feel the pain of whatever you're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
And obviously feel and heal, but like feel the pain and do it anyway.
Yeah, you know? And then talk about like your partner, because that whole thing, what are you guys doing now?
In what way?
And like what you guys do with your venturing, like give the audience a little bit of what you guys do, because meeting him led to a lot of things, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, meeting Addison, we met the night Tom Petty passed away, which is like kind of wild. Yeah, so my friend Zach was like, hey, there's this Tom Petty jam tonight in Hollywood, do you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I pick him up. We're on the way there. I get a blowout on the 101. Oh, shit.
With my tire.
Oh, God. The 101?
The 101.
Where exactly?
Like getting off of Vine Street. Like literally like the most congested.
Yes, it is.
Area.
Oh,
and, God. I'm about to get off. He helps me change my tire. And I go to him, you know what, dude? Tom Petty just passed away. I'm having a really bad day. Already outside of that. I'm like, I'm just going to go back home. And he's like, come with me to this jam. Like, it's going to be really cool. There's a lot of fun people. Let's just go for a bit. If you don't like it, we'll leave. I'm like, okay, fine. We go, and I'm there for maybe 30 minutes, and Addison, I don't know him yet. He had just finished a show up the street at the Mint. Walks at the Mint.
I actually need to go there.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about it.
It's dope.
And I really need to go there.
And he walks in, and I'm like, who is this person? Like, I immediately felt an energy about him, and it wasn't like, oh shit, like, not in a bad way. It was like a sexual thing. It was just like, I feel this crazy energy with this person. And 2 days later we were writing together, and from was October 4th of like 2017. We haven't stopped writing together ever since.
Nice.
You know, so
Yeah, and you guys have your, not just your music part, but you also have your business on the side too as well.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's like one of those things that you always want in the end, to have your partner that does everything with you.
Yeah.
Like my partner, Mr. Ortiz.
Yeah, I just want to be able to, I know we were talking about it before everything was rolling, but I just think it's important that you do what you want to do in this lifetime while also laughing through it as much as possible, because there's so much seriousness that is out there, and it's like, I feel like even since COVID, it's been kind of like the wild, wild west, and it's like kind of a circus, like an overwhelming circus, consistently, and it's like, when I'm not in that, I want to feel safe, and I want to laugh, and I want to create, and I want to be childlike, and I want to, like, our band name is called Rose Colored World. I want to create a rose colored world for people that I love to exist in, you know, and feel free, like, when they're at our shows, I want them to feel completely, from all walks of life, just completely themselves, to be in the present moment and not feel judged and not feel shame or guilt, and just be extremely present and be in that moment and sing and laugh and dance.
You know, it's so funny you say that about your band's name. And people are in the podcast, because in the YouTube you guys already see her, but in the podcast, and if you want to see her, go to the YouTube. She's talking about all these colors, and this beautiful woman is wearing all black, which I love, by the way. But I love how you say that, because you're just like, you know, if you're walking down the street, I would never thought that that's what you want to do, like, all, you know, you want the world to be very colorful and open. I love that. I love that contrast from you.
I think, like, dark can't exist without light, the duality.
We were just talking about that with Sarai the other day for Growing Lights. She was the one selling those candles at Skip the Record.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was talking about, like, we cannot exist without the darkness. Like, we need to have the darkness. You know, how the heck do we, like, pull ourselves away from that and build ourselves away from that? So.
Yeah, it's important to have both, and I think the moment I accepted that, the moment.
Yes. You know, for all the women that have been here, that's the, like, from season 1, they've all said that. It's like the moment that I've accepted, the moment I realized, I opened up my eyes, that's where I was like, I get it. And I'm just like, yes.
The moment I didn't allow myself to feel shame or guilt for feeling any negative emotion anymore. Because I think it, as a culture, too, specifically in the spiritual community or the artistic community, we do have sometimes a little bit of this toxic positivity that's like good vibes only. Like, we must be in this, like, happy frequency.
God, that voice. That was
like,
so funny.
You know, like, we have to
You're very Valley girl.
Yeah, like, we have to have good vibes. And it's like, I believe in good vibrations.
That's
like,
so cringy.
Right? Like, I believe
But I can do that too, but I just, like, damn, that was so cringy.
Like, oh my God,
like,
vibe, like, positive vibe, please.
Yes. And it's just like, of course I want to, like I just said, I want to laugh, I want to sing, I want to be with my people. How I get to that is by being brutally honest, by allowing myself to feel negative emotions, by feeling through them to heal through them. Like, the second in COVID, I decided to go, how vulnerable can I get right now with myself in whatever I'm writing, sitting on my couch in my studio in my house, allowing myself to cry on the pages as I write. Like,
and I like how you say that. If people hear this and you listen and you see her allowing yourself, that means you're very aware of what's going on. And the good thing, I'm pretty sure with this, you know how to get out of that too. That means like whatever progress you're doing, like whatever you're writing, that is what you're laying out there. You let it go, right? And then you're just like,
for sure,
back to center, right?
And it's funny because sometimes, like, my family or people close to me will hear some of the lyrics and some of it is super dark, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried about you. And the cool thing about music is just because you felt it in that moment doesn't mean you perpetually feel it. Yeah. It was a moment of whatever I was feeling. I decided to capture it or catch it, write it down, and explain it and feel it, and hopefully allow other people, give other people permission to not feel as alone. And when I remember hearing a few different bands, but Blink-182, and now they're back, thank God. Tom's back in the band, let's go. Like,
I think everybody was happy when
we're all so stoked. Like, Tom DeLonge, if you hear this somehow, I love you.
Watch it becomes a first circle and he's all like, damn.
Right. No, but I remember hearing lyrics to them, and then things even Elton John, things that were way before my time because my dad was listening to that kind of music. Radiohead, like I said, hearing that song and feeling like, oh, this guy feels alone too. He doesn't feel like enough either. Yeah. I'm like, hell yeah, neither do I. I'm like entering this awkward teenage phase. Like, I feel fucking weird too, right? Yeah. So it's like understanding that, and me, like I said, giving myself permission to write exactly how I feel. And I got to a place where, like, in one of the songs I write, I'm depressed, but I smile, but let's chat for a while. Like, I'm being so vulnerable of being like, I suffer from waves of this, but I'm still going to show up and talk and be, and let's try to get through it together. And the more vulnerable I've gotten in that, the bigger connection people have had with the art, the bigger shows we've gotten to play, the more opportunities I've had.
Because there's more people relating to that.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, before we started recording, I talked about normalizing this conversation within women in the industry. Whether you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business, to like an artist, to photography, painting, doesn't matter what it is. We don't sit down and normalize that and be like, can we just talk? Because it's not just always going to a therapist or going to your best friend. Or for, like, my mother going to church, thinking that an hour of church will, like, cure that, but it won't. But it's, like, sitting down and really asking, like, is everything okay? And not necessarily meaning that you're supposed to, like, okay, let's, like, bring you out of this funk. Sometimes the other person just needs an ear, you know, just to listen. Yeah. But to make it seem like it's a normal thing, not to, there was another person who had said, you know, I was really not feeling good at all, and she's like, I reached out to a friend, and she ended up saying, like, well, you have, like, you know, you have your master's, you know, you're certified, might as well just go back to your 9-to-5 job, you know, you can get your work that. And I told her, I was like, shut up. And she's like, yeah, that brings you down worse. And I'm like, wow. So if you were just speaking to somebody who's in the same position as you are as an artist, they probably would have just said, like, dude, what can I do to, like, help you out, like, get you out of this funk, instead of, like, well, you can go back to your 9-to-5 job. I want this whole podcast and YouTube thing, awareness for, like, not just the artists, also the 9-to-5, like, you hear, like, if you have somebody in your life who's artistic and is feeling down, reach out, man, because, you know, they need to talk too, and don't make the assumption that they want to go back to, like, corporate world. Not to say there's no shame on doing that, no shame on doing that. But, you know, this is the life that we choose to take. And if we're reaching out to you, like, you know, don't assume that that's, like, the solution. Like, that's not always sometimes we just want to speak to our friends and just kind of, like, have an ear, and that's it.
I also realize, like, any person from any walk of life I know feels a full range of human emotions and suffer from the human condition. Yep. I just have found also in my own personal experience, because I'm also an artist and I am around creatives a lot, that a lot of creatives feel extreme high highs and extreme low lows. Yeah. And I remember even talking to my dad about it. I felt comfortable as a teenager and opening up to him and saying, like, I feel kind of crazy some days. And my dad handed me, and thank God for this moment, and his self-awareness and him being tapped in and understanding, he gave me an Eric Clapton book that was his autobiography, and then said, read this. And I had it in the corner of my room for a couple of weeks because I was like,
you're like, I don't know.
I was like, I don't know. I don't want to read. I already read so much for school. Yeah. You know, I'm like, I like a book.
Homework?
Yeah. Like for my dad?
Like homework for my dad from the stuff that I love to do? Like, what the heck?
Yeah, I'm like, that's I'm good on this.
You're like, I have to read books for music?
Yeah. Like,
as a teenager, that's what you're thinking.
I'm just like, I don't want more shit I have to do, was like the thought. I remember being like, okay, like another thing I have to do. And then I was having a really low night, and my dad was playing a show. Not that I was too young, I couldn't go to this show. And so I was home by myself as probably like 12 or 13. Mm-hmm. And I picked up the book. And I started finding pockets of him talking about how lonely he would feel on tour playing for stadiums. I would read the lows of coming off tour. I would read the moments of doing mundane things that he would feel highs and lows and it vividly describe it. And I remember reading that and being like, oh, this is just like me. This is just like me.
Yeah.
And it gave me comfort. And I do think I want, and I have been spending my lifetime making other people feel less alone. And like, that's a goal of mine. Like, we're all, no one knows the answers. We're all trying to figure the fuck out.
Yeah.
We're all just like, if I could make you feel less alone for 5 minutes or at the grocery store or whatever, like, that lights me up.
Yeah, if I can make you feel any emotions, make you happy or make you sad.
Yeah,
I mean,
make you
there's some
feel,
sad.
yeah.
I won't be feeling sad at the moment, but when I hear something, I start freaking bawling out. Like, I'm just like,
yeah.
Like, what the heck? This is really good. This is really, really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's, you know, the one thing that I've noticed about us as women, we carry a lot. Like, we do. Like,
Ooh,
I'm not not to
do.
shame men or anything.
Yeah.
But trust me when I say women are thinking of 100 different things at night before we go to bed, and we're trying to make sure we can execute all those 100 different things. And at the same time, we're just like, we need to hear something to kind of drown this voice out of it. But it's true, we do. We carry so much, and and what I've noticed with all the women I've talked to, when it's something to let go, it takes a long ass time to convince ourselves to let it go.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is. I'm sure you felt like that before in the past, where you're just like, okay, I can finally move forward, but it took this long for me to be like, all right. Like,
I also have found that healing isn't linear. Like, it's not like a line graph where you're just like, I'm so much better now.
No way.
Like,
Whoever
great.
says that, that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like,
whoever says that, I swear, that's like, no, it's not.
I do think as you allow yourself to feel, you have an upwards trajectory, but there's dips in the line graph. It's not just like this perfect, perfect uphill. It's
the key is to recognize those and find like what soothes those moments, like what soothes you, or maybe just allowing yourself to feel it and then kind of get away from it again.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. A lot of people don't see those keys when we're getting to that place. As women, like, I mean, for me personally, like, every day I'm always thinking about, like, 100 different things, what's going to do. I'm always thinking ahead of time. I'm sure you do the same thing when you're just like, okay, a month from now, a week from now, tomorrow, an hour from now, like, what am I doing? And it's constant thinking of that way.
Yeah. I've learned through breath work and meditation to learn how to slow that down a little more than it used to be.
Yeah.
I still go through waves of feeling like, oh my gosh, there's so much happening all at the same time, and what's going to happen, and then this is happening on the 12th, and this is happening on the 15th, right? And you're like, it's very easy to get caught in that, but when you...
With the smile on the face,
right,
by the way.
Right.
People need to get that.
Yeah.
With the smile on the face, because we don't look like it, right? Yeah. We're just like, yeah.
But I've learned to take time for me. Like,
say that out loud. People are here.
I've learned to take time for me.
Yeah.
I have.
Which is crucial.
Yeah, and I really try to anchor it within the first hour I wake up, if I have the opportunity to. Some days are crazier than others. Yesterday, like, I was on a shoot. I had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, shit.
And I was on the shoot all day, right? So it's like, maybe I wasn't able to, in my normal routine, take my 10 minutes or my 20 minutes of my hour. But you bet when I'm on the way there, I'm doing my breath work, and I'm taking a conscious inventory to see how am I feeling. I think the biggest gift that I've grown into, because I don't think I've always had, but the biggest gift I've grown into is self-awareness. And that set me free of being like, this is how I feel right now. Having radical self-awareness of how I feel. And if I'm okay enough, being able to reach out to the people that I love and have radical self-awareness of, I feel something's going on. Like, are you good? You know, even I called my dad the other day, and I could feel something. And, you know, he is in his mid-60s feeling different waves of emotions, or my mom, right? It's not my responsibility to fix them, even especially they're my parents, right?
Yeah.
I'm younger than them. But if I'm in an emotional capacity where I'm feeling this beautiful upswell, maybe I just booked a crazy show and I had this happen,
you want to share that,
and I'm feeling awesome, why not? Like, it's not gonna run out, because things come in waves. It's not gonna. We're all at any time can connect to gratitude and can connect to this, like, infinite power source. And I don't think we realize that.
No.
We get caught up in our own shitstorm, and, like, we're atomized in our world of, like, we have to do all these things. And then that's why, like, for me, breath work meditation, I take that 10 minutes, like a nice inhale, and I just take a freaking second, like, everything's okay.
Yes.
Everything's actually fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one that has to live with the voice in my head. We all have to live with the voice in our head. And if I'm not cool with that voice, my boyfriend's not going to be cool with that, my band, my roommates, no one.
No, because it manifests, and the next thing you know, it's out there.
Next thing you know, I'm fighting about toothpaste.
Oh, shit.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's when the petty stuff starts happening, because you're really not upset about the toothpaste. The toothpaste was the thing that
triggered.
That made it go over the edge for whatever reason.
It's true.
Right?
Like,
it's not actually about the
That's right. You're right. We have to recognize and learn to, like, kind of accept it and come to terms and then move forward, because if we hold it gets worse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I told, like, me and Anthony always constantly, like I told you earlier, like, we always check on each other and make sure we're okay. And just because sometimes I want to make sure he's okay and I'm okay, to the point where it's like, okay, if you need to talk, tell me now. Like, do not hold back. Like, let me know, because if you hold it in, guess what? It's gonna, you may hurt yourself and you may hurt other people's around you, and we don't want that. We don't want that. Or it may come out to you where you feel like shitty and depressed that day, and it's okay if you get to that point, but don't hold it in. It's hard. It's not easy. It's like the hardest thing.
You just said such a great thing. Like, it's okay to feel like shit.
Yeah, it's okay to feel like shit.
And that's like what I was saying about the toxic positivity mentioned before, of like, we're now adapting into this, like, spiritual meta culture through social media of people being like good vibes, like I was saying.
Oh my god, no, I swear what I told you. I want people to really learn, like, if you're gonna sage something, please
just be intentional, understand it, learn it.
Understand it, like, learn how to do it properly.
Yeah,
because I swear that was a shit show.
Yeah,
I will talk about this some other time, people.
Yeah, you got to be intentional with your energy, and you have good days and bad days. Like, we all suffer from the human condition. We're all not going to be here one day. We're all trying to figure it out while we're here. Sometimes it's really easy. And you don't want to
leave a negative energy when you check out, you know?
I don't, at least.
I don't either.
Some people...
Yeah, no, I don't want to be stuck in this line.
Yeah.
Either I move on or I go to the next life. Yeah. But with good positivity. That's what I want.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
I was just like, that's all I want. I don't want to stay stuck in this limbo.
Yeah.
And if I do, let it be with some sexy man. Like, just me just haunting his ass. Like, hey, what's up?
Hey, it's me again.
It's like, hey. Let's you can't sleep? All right, cool. Let me turn the TV on.
Yeah, right, the light switch. It's so funny.
So crazy. Well, what are we're talking about it. What is it that you want to let people know out there? What you do, the breathing technique. What do you want people to know about, like, what to do when they're in a dark place? Like, with your breathing technique.
Yeah, I think the first thing, if you're in a dark place, it's okay. You're not alone. We all suffer from being in a dark place. I think when people are in that, they're like, something's wrong with me. And am I always going to be in
like,
this?
Am I a bad person?
Yeah, am I always going to... And that's the thing. Am I always going to feel like this forever? And
it sucks.
This past week, because, like, I am an open book, and I encourage people to be this. Like, last week, out of the whole year, I probably had the toughest mental health week last week of the whole year.
Shit.
And it was, like... It went from, like, the second week of January to literally last week, where it felt like I was on this pink cloud of... I don't even know. It was just like everything was always working out for me, and I was ping pong, like, effortlessly, and it was just boom, like this wake up moment where I was like, I don't feel so good right now. And I allowed myself to stay in bed. I allowed myself to binge watch something. I allowed myself to eat a whole thing of macaroni and cheese, right? I allowed myself to do these things. Good. And after I was done feeling it, I said, feel the pain now and do it anyway. Show up, wash your face, get yourself moving. And how I think I transitioned into that was, like, there was a full moon in Aries, and I'm an Aries.
Oh gosh, like, I saw the full moon and I was like, you're wicked tonight.
Yeah, it was intense, and I sat outside with my partner, with Addison.
It was full on Aries, so I was just like, I'm gonna, like, say hi to you and then go back to my room because
run away.
You're not meant for me right now.
And we sat there, and we did it was like where it speaks to, you know, a guided, that's the word, a guided meditation for like 15, 20 minutes. And, you know, in the meditation, there's breath work, there's visualization, right? And it's I think for me, meditation is like having a hard reset. And I think that people are afraid to sit with themselves. Pink, she's so badass.
Oh yeah, she totally like, talks about that.
So badass, but she has a song, and one of the first lines is, "The silence scares me because it screams the truth."
Yep.
And I remember I was in high school and I heard that line. I was like, "Whoo, sheesh!" Like,
what was she going through that day?
Yeah, and I think like people are afraid to meditate and step into that space or just close their eyes and take deep breaths because they're afraid of what's going to come up. But the only way to heal is to feel it. And that's something I'm realizing.
Really quick talk about like when you went to record.
Yeah.
You can open this up so it can be more lighting. Tons of shade.
It's so pretty outside.
It's really great view
so
out here.
Pretty, like LA.
Yeah, people listening to like my studio, I pretty much have like a 180 view of LA, Long Beach, San Pedro, Montebello, the whole works.
It's so pretty. So
I want people to hear this. This was really good what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a two-part thing
because we don't do that.
Right.
Yeah. We don't do what you did.
So this is a two-part story. The first part I didn't tell you yet, which was this producer hit our band up on through Instagram, and his name is Hiram Hernandez. He hits us up and goes, "Hey, I would love to do a session with you guys. Love what you guys are doing. Love what you're creating. Want to be a part of it." So I'm learning to delegate. Ding! Like I'm like learning to not wear every hat. And so I was like, "Oh, you can reach out to our management and we'll set up a session."
Yeah.
The next day, we go to shoot content in Hollywood. As we're at the light on Cahuenga, I see this yellow wall, and yellow is part of our branding, and so I drop a pin and I say, "Hey, when we're done shooting content, let's come back to this yellow wall and take some photos because it'll look great." Sounds good. Cool. Shoot the content, come back, we're parking by the yellow wall. Our videographer just gets out his camera to start, taking some video and photo, and Hiram Hernandez walks out of the yellow wall that's attached to a coffee shop, and he goes, "I just messaged you guys last night. I'm Hiram, like I'm the producer that messaged you." Out of every single person in Los Angeles at that exact moment, and I wasn't even planning on going to the yellow wall, but I saw it, right? It was just like all of these things that had to line up in the butterfly effect of what that was. And so I was like, "What are you doing Thursday?" And he's like, "It's my only day free." I'm like, "Great, 10 a.m., let's do it." Or 12, probably noon, that makes more sense for me. Cool, let's do it.
You're like, wait.
I was like, no, it was probably more noon. And I woke up that morning barely being able to sleep. This is the second part now that we talked about. I was having night terrors because, have you ever gone through a friend breakup?
Yes.
Sometimes it could even be more painful than a romantic breakup.
I think this is the week of like everyone talking about friendship and stuff. Yeah, because we had another person we talk about like when we're friends, it's not just a friendship, it's a relationship. There's love, there's caring.
This friend was also in my life for like close to 5 years, and was very integrated in creating things that I've been a part of, and they stopped coming correct. They started lying, and we don't have to get into all of that because it was a breakup. It was a breakup, and it was not a pretty one.
Yeah,
and it hurt a lot because it was unexpected.
You were going through the 5 stages of grief.
Yes,
we go through it for friendships.
Thank you for even affirming that because it was 100% anger, and then I was deep sad. Like it was all of the things. So I had a night terror with him in it, and I'm in my childhood home.
Ooh.
So I'm like already in this space where maybe trauma and things develop with now this person who is putting me through a lot of fight or flight in my nervous system, making me feel really unsafe in other parts of my life, right? And so they're in this dream, did not sleep. I wake up and I'm like, how am I supposed to put on makeup and write a song with this producer that I read the bio also that morning was like on Billboard. Like this person is somebody that like I've probably been waiting to have a session with in the universe for quite some time. And
the universe is like, we're not going to make it easy for you because we want the talent to come out.
Right. How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it?
Well, I I'm with Addison in the car, my partner, my bandmate, my roommate, my boyfriend, all the things.
Everybody.
All the things. And we're in the car, and we're, like, halfway there, and a song comes on the radio, and I start tearing up because I'm just being present and feeling this friend breakup, and it was a song that he also liked. It was just this whole really crazy thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm tearing up. I don't even know how I'm going to make it through the session. And I was like, let's just listen to music. Like, we didn't even talk, really, on the way. I was like, I just have to feel this. And I walk in, and he's like, so what do we want to, the producer he's like, what do we want to accomplish today? What do we want to write? What do we want to do? And I was like, well, I'm really pissed off. And I didn't sleep well, and I'm going through a friend breakup. And as I'm telling the story, he picks up an acoustic guitar, and the song gets written in like 15, 20 minutes. And I needed to, and then as I was singing it throughout the day, we're laughing so much in the studio, not about the song, because the song was obviously heavy and serious, but we're just having a good time creating. And slowly, by writing down, by getting vulnerable, by showing up authentically, this pain is now transmuted into a piece of art, and this piece of art is now our next single. And this piece of art is now the best thing I've ever done, because instead of canceling and not because I was maybe afraid to be vulnerable, I decided to show up anyway and just whatever's going to happen here is going to happen. And I didn't know that obviously was going to happen. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to sit there.
And we talked about how you could have just taken the route where you sucked it up and been like, I'm feeling great. Let's record. And guess what? I'm sure it would have been not the best.
Old me would have been like, I'm great. Like,
the Valley girl.
Yeah, old me. That was never a Valley, but old me that wanted desperately to always have it together.
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of do sometimes, and we want to, like, be like, we're good. And I'm like,
not really.
That's why even I was like, last week, it hit me with a ton of bricks between stuff with him, the trauma that I went through that was coming back up, because you think, like I said, healing
but
isn't
you
linear.
allowed yourself to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be transparent and like, I'm not feeling good. Something that we don't do, because then we think of the repercussions about it after. Yeah. And we're just like, fuck. And it's like, no. Like, who knows where this, single is going to go to, Yeah. Wait, when are you guys going to...
So we're releasing it the second week of November.
Oh, okay, so
this probably will
you
be
have to send it to me. We will play it for like 30 seconds in here. Mr. Anthony will do that.
Nice.
So we'll take a pause to listen to that. I want to say thank you for doing that, because that is something that we don't allow ourselves to do.
Thank you for affirming me. It feels good to like have that whole cycle.
Yeah, because in this industry, one of the pros about it is that we are allowed to actually be like, if you came in and be like, dude, I'm having like the worst time in my fucking life. I'm like, all right, let's record this so people can hear it and people can relate. And guess what? Your shitty ass day may work for someone out there and save them.
Yeah, exactly.
So totally. That's the good thing about it. But I hate to say that there are some other, environments and industries that don't allow that you have to suck it up. Mm-hmm. I've heard of like, don't bring whatever issues you're having at home at work. No, but I mean, there should be a space where it's like, I'm not really feeling it, how about I take some time, some hours before I come in so I can just recheck myself. That's not allowed, because they want us to be robots and just work.
That's why I do feel so fortunate to be able to show up as a creative, as much as possible, because...
That's one of the pros about it. Because that's how the best work. It's art. It's your emotions. You're selling your emotions.
And I feel terrible for so many people that don't have either the support system or don't know how to allow themselves to feel or don't give themselves permission to feel, or maybe in a toxic situation where they have to be the strong one all the time.
And they don't realize what's happening. Sometimes you don't have your eye open because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love how the universe worked on your ass.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, hey, look at me, wall over here. And you're just like, oh, okay, let me see what's going on. And then you go there, and next thing you know, you're like, oh shit,
Like that night leaving there, I felt peace, and I felt like just so much excitement when that morning I didn't know how I was going to get out of bed and force myself.
Well, see, that's what I like. The universe literally was like, I'm throwing something really good, but I'm also going to throw something really bad because something good can happen. Yeah. So that's what happened.
You don't realize it, I think, when you're in the thick of it, though. It's always like, why is this happening?
Like, no, you realize it after, and you're just like, I see what life is trying to do.
Because that morning, I was like, really? On all days?
Yeah.
Like, this is how I feel. Like, I was so, in it. And I'm like, this, really? When I get to finally work with somebody that's like this, that I divinely, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to walk in anyway. And I loved that, as a producer, I've learned the definition of a producer is someone who sets the condition for art to be created. And that's why Rick Rubin, even though he's not even touching the keyboard or the knobs, he's sitting on the couch like this, right? He's creating this set of conditions, whether it's songs that he sent you to prepare for the session, whether it's going for a walk and having an intentional conversation, Yep. And Hiram, I have to give it to him, he set the conditions like, how are we today? What do we want to accomplish today?
And the minute you said that, he's like, all right, cool, I know exactly what to do.
And then me being able to go that feedback loop of like,
that's the key. That's what she's trying to tell you guys. It's to like allow yourself
to feel it.
That it's okay.
And I know like not everybody is a creative and maybe could sing and write about it.
You don't have to be a creative
No, but that's
person.
what I was just going to say. It's like you can journal. Also, movement is medicine for me. Like, I do move my body, like, I try to, like, 4 to 5 times a week, intentionally. Even if it's for 30 minutes or 10 minutes or a hot girl walk or whatever you got to do. Because, getting that blood and oxygen to your neural receptors and your neural pathways, like, and awakening all those, getting the blood flowing, like, it does increase endorphins. And, like,
it does.
People, when people say to me that they have a headache or they're upset, or I will ask them, like, did you exercise today? How much water? And then I'll say, how much water have you drank today?
Oh my God, yes. So I do that to myself, where I'm like, why am I having this headache? I'm like, okay, did I drink enough water? Did I drink enough water? Okay, did I?
And then you try to convince yourself. You're like, well, I had some earlier.
I did. And then I think about what's stressing me out. And then I trickle down my list of what it is. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and drink water. I'm going to snack on something. I'm going to work on something. I'm going to get up.
Right, 10 minutes of sunlight even.
Sunlight or something, like, just do something. Because I already recognize, like, maybe it's not enough water and that's what it is, and that's what it is. Or maybe it's something else and I have to work on it.
I try to go through, like, what could it be at the surface level that are quick kind of fixes first. And if I'm still feeling that heaviness, then I'm like, okay, we need to really figure this out.
Yeah, because if it's heavy, then it's something you really have to, like, work on it and see
you gotta
why.
dive in there.
Well, that's great advice, because that's something someone else out there can do. Like,
I'm always like, I mean, even I think honestly what really anchored this in for me was during COVID, because especially you woke up every day, you get a headache and you're like, am I sick? Do I have the thing? Do I have to take it right? Like everybody had their own relationship with it.
Yeah.
So for me, how and everybody had their own journey with it. But for me, I was drinking so much water. I was actively taking walks with my dog. I was trying to get as much fresh air and sunlight and move my body. And when I was doing these things, I was like, wow, I'm way happier than I was maybe 20 minutes ago when I was sitting in the house scrolling on my phone, seeing what everybody's opinion is of what's going on. Because what is the truth?
Yeah,
that
that's
it was just
true.
like everyone battling of what they think was the best possible thing.
You know what? I do that, or the opposite, where it's like I had a long day. I've been up in my feet. I've been moving around. It's not kicking in. It released as much as it can. And I'm like, I need to lay down and just scroll on something stupid to like defunk. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me see. All right, cool. All right, I'm good.
And I do think regular doses of escapism is, like,
it's
necessary.
Good. It's so good. Trust me. Like, for me, either it's reading a book, either drawing, because that's what I usually do.
I love that.
Or
what do you usually draw?
Eyes.
Eyes?
Yeah, I usually do a bunch of eyes.
Wow.
Yeah. Just eyes.
That's
You've seen them.
That's so cool.
It's just a bunch.
How long have you
Oh, yeah, I did the eyes up there.
Wow. How long have you drawn eyes? Like, has that always been your thing?
It's always been a thing to draw as a kid.
Yeah, but, like, when did you...
like, when I realized... Well, because my old profession is optometry.
Right.
So it's the eyes.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I just started drawing eyes.
Mm.
And all of a sudden I was just like, I really like eyes. And then when I got spiritual, I was just like, oh, that makes sense why I draw eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I even have one that I want to tattoo on myself because I did it.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then probably later on, but there was one that I was like, this looks like a tattoo. Like, I should definitely have him or her, because I have 2 tattoo artists that might do this for me. So,
I was saying that there's the angel painting here.
oh yeah, she was talking about. I was telling that to your mom bought
thing.
that, right? Your mom bought the angel painting?
Yeah, and my mom has angel wings tattooed on her wrist here. And that's one reason why I got this. So when I'm performing, it always grounds me because it's on my right hand where I'm singing. And it's like for me where I see it. It keeps me grounded, reminds me where I come from, and that I'm tapped into something greater than me. And, like, also blessed to be able to have a microphone to speak for people who can't, and, like, channel that energy out to people.
Yeah, my tattoos have that too. So I have this here, and it's 4 stems, like branches, and they all go up to my kids' names in the back.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, they're all there, and that's what it means. So every time I see this, it's just a reminder of them. And then this is just my first tattoo. This was just the thing, the cool part, what I've recognized about this is that I was like, this is me. And I was like, this continues to be me. Because I got this at 20, I believe. 20 years old. I was like, people, if you want to know my age, I'm 37, so it's been a long time. And so...
You literally look incredible.
Thank you.
No, like, what, dude?
Yeah, I'm like 3 years from being 40.
Like...
Yeah.
Let me get that skincare, though. What are you doing?
Literally, it's, like, it's, what do I do? I moisturize in the winter. A shitload of moisturizing. Like, I just slap it in the night.
I'm like, I'm just going to have to DM you. And
you know
like,
what
just
it is?
vitamin.
You know what it is? Vitamin C. Vitamins.
Okay.
But not just, like, to put, like, also
oral.
to take. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to take vitamins. I've been taking vitamins since my 20s.
Yeah.
And that really helps. And you have to go to a physician that tells you, like, what
vitamins.
Yeah, because you got to draw blood to see, like, what is it that's good for you. Because not everything's going to be the
thing for you.
Yeah, and for my doctor, rest in peace because he passed away, he did that for me. And so I continue to still take those vitamins. But vitamin C in your face, so good
that's
for
what
you.
I've been hearing.
Yeah. No, it is.
See, these are the girl secrets we need.
I know, right?
We can't gatekeep.
I was like, this is not a podcast about women and what they're going through. It's about our skincare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
It's all care for
women.
women.
It's all care.
Yeah.
Yeah, vitamin C is the best. Like, that's what I love to do. And I was telling someone what else I end up doing. What do I do with my skin? Oh, I do massages.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I do massages. So, have you seen that little tool that people use? You don't need to, by the way.
I do have one.
I don't. So somebody asked me, like, how many times do you do it? I was like, I do it all day. Like, I literally just go, like, I'll be driving and I'll just, like, go up and I'm just massaging my face this way.
It's also intentional being like, I love it enough. Like, I love myself enough to do that,
and then the collagens, you're trying to wake them up, too. Right. And so I'm just pinching away, and I'm just doing this, and I go in here. Yeah, it's like an all-day thing, and I'm massaging the muscles and everything. I literally been doing that for a long time. And didn't know that, like, my coworker then, she's Korean. She's like, yeah, that's like we do that all the time. I was like, well, I guess I'm Korean. Because I've been doing that since my 20s. So
I love that.
Yeah. Well, where can we find you? And social media, websites, everything.
So, Instagram is probably the easiest way to get in touch with me. My personal handle is at Rae Music Official, and the band's is at RCW Official. And our music's on Spotify and YouTube and you name it. It's kind of there. We also have TikTok and Twitter and all that. But
I gotta check your TikTok.
Yeah,
I gotta check that out.
Check it out.
Yeah, mine's are just stupid, but it's okay.
No, I'm like, I've been embracing TikTok culture lately. I think it's a delicate balance of, same thing of like what we've been talking about this whole time. Like I just want to keep the authenticity and whatever genuine things that we're doing and letting it translate there. But my favorite part about TikTok in the last month that I've really, really been embracing is TikTok Live, because I can do whenever I feel like connecting to people, I get to throw it on when I feel like it's not like a forced thing where it's like at this certain time someone's gonna have a camera on you or like a shoot or anything like that. So it's like I'm making chicken parm for me and Ad, right? And I'm listening to pop punk music or alternative music and bands I like, and then people are like, oh, I love that dish, or I love that song by The Strokes. Like, do you like The Strokes? Have you seen them live?
You're interacting with people.
Yeah, and then what's cool
it's from everywhere.
Is genuinely, it somehow usually gets back to, oh yeah, I'm actually in an alternative band, and like, here's a song. And then all of a sudden, the follows start coming in because they're like, oh, this is a rad song, and like, oh, I checked you out here, and then you get messages like on other social media things, and that's what's been beautiful the last month of utilizing.
That's what I like that too. I go in there and then I see that they have an Instagram, and I go to Instagram and I follow them there.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, I'm really interested in like what they're doing and what they're saying. I love that. I do like social media has like, again, pros and cons to it, and it's good and it's bad. Yeah. It just depends how you utilize it. So.
If you're using it as a tool and you're not letting it use you.
As artists, we have to use it because it's like part of how it is. That's what it's called, social media, because it's social. It's everywhere. It's socialized. But we also know like to just hold back and just like walk away from it, because it is
it's addicting.
Very addicting.
It's addicting, and it's fucking hard. It's hard. And you don't even realize it. You're down, like, I call it a scroll hole. You're down it. You're down the scroll hole, and all of a sudden you were like, wasn't it just 7 o'clock? It's almost 8.
Oh my God, I feel like that's your sister, Anthony.
I'm like...
With those Instagram, like, videos, I swear his sister sends them, like, a shitload of videos, and I literally was like, does she work? Does she, like, even work when she's working? And she's, like, a vet tech. And he's like, yeah, for sure. And one night we asked... I was like, let's ask her. She's like, yeah, I'm at work. And I'm like, when I'm taking my bathroom breaks. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, your brother just said that you're taking a shit. So when you're doing that. Right. And she's all like, maybe I am.
I love that though. But yeah, it's just like creating healthy boundaries with it, like it is for anything else. It's another, the thing is we're the guinea pigs, because like our parents' generation, our parents' like, it's like they didn't necessarily.
No, they didn't have this.
So now we're like, okay, now that we have this, how do we use this healthily? How do we use it to benefit me? How do we use it as a tool and it not take over? But it's hard because we're being constantly stimulated by all these colors and sensory things and sounds, and you're like, it's like a kid in a candy shop in a way.
It's still a new like thing or like technology we're using. So we're going old school. But I know that vinyls, like, artists are using vinyls to sell the shit, and I was like, yes!
Yeah, they're making a comeback.
Fuck, yes, I love that.
For sure, they're making a comeback, and it's been, really fun to see it come full circle, because, like I said, my dad's in a my parents were in a band together. My dad is 65, still playing drums out in bands out in Florida, which is so cool.
That's so crazy.
And I used to listen to all my dad's records when he would leave and go to shows, and I wasn't there, and I would binge, the Stones, Bob Dylan, the Doors, like just I would just dive in, and Pat Benatar. And then the cool thing is I got to I remember listening to the Runaways. My dad had that.
Yes.
And
it's like one of my favorite bands.
Well, wait till I tell you this crazy story. A few weeks ago, I went to Harvard and Stone, where I met my best friend there, that bar. And this guy, JK's, was playing. And I was like, oh, this should be fun. Cool. So I'm up getting a drink at the bar. And I look at this woman, and I'm staring at her, and I'm like, why do I know her face? I'm like, I know her face. Could it be her? Like, I'm like going back and forth. And it's Cherie Curry from The Runaways, the lead singer of The Runaways. And I'm staring at her, and I'm internalizing it. I'm like, is it really her?
I'm
like, I don't know, but it's like, that's her face. Like, I know her. So I go to my friend and I go, oh yeah, I think Cherie Curie's over at the bar. And she goes, oh yeah, that's Jake's mom, the guy that I'm there to go see's mom. So after the show, he gracefully introduced me to her, and like I got to tell her like.
So I'm one step closer.
I literally got to say like your music.
Oh fuck.
Like you walked so I could run.
Yeah.
Like in giving her flowers of being like, because you
Yeah.
are who you are,
Yep.
and like her, Joan Jett, all those girls. It gave me permission to be able to rock out and it be more acceptable now.
Yeah, I literally have. I play that.
Cherry bomb.
Dude, that and like I literally have a shitload of songs just like lined up. I have like this I call like my girl rock.
Yeah.
So they're part of that. And also I have also I can't remember. I don't have my phone with me, but there's a list of there that I'm just like, these are the women that I really want to meet.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, my line. Besides Sarah Michelle Gellar. Sarah Michelle Gellar, if you've ever listened to this.
Yeah, right?
You're like she's not a singer.
No, she was in
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I was going to say a very embarrassing...
Which one?
What? I was just watching the old Scooby-Doo movie.
Yes.
And her and Freddie Prinze are together.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
They're still together. They're so cute.
Yeah, I think, yes. I would tell him, like, we were talking about it, I was like, what are the chances of her, like, 1 in a million for her to show up in my gallery? Because I swear, if I ever meet her, I will not.
You will meet her.
Dude, I tell him, like, I will not be, like, normal.
Yeah. You'll just, like, combust.
I would combust like crazy and be like, you need to film us the whole entire time.
That's how I felt also about Jason Mraz. Oh. And I got to meet him at Bonnaroo in 2016, and I was combusting. Like, I was trying my best to, like...
But you just can't.
Hold it together. But I was definitely...
Crazy.
Yeah, I was like...
Like, hey, like, I'm sorry.
Also a powerful woman that... She was one of the people that actually made me want to learn keys when I was younger, is Norah Jones.
Norah Jones.
And the coolest thing... Last time I was in New York last year with my boyfriend... We were eating dinner kind of close to Times Square with his aunt and uncle, and when we were done, his aunt and uncle were like, do you guys want to walk around? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we're walking up and down the street, and I love my girl Norah. I hear her voice. I'm like, Norah Jones is singing right now, and it's live, because this is live. Like, you know, you could
you could tell it's
I
live,
was like, she's singing somewhere right now, and like, so we're walking around, and we walked by the big tree, because it was, you know, right after Thanksgiving, they had just thrown it up. And she was on Rockefeller Center on the ice singing for a recorded, you know, Christmas thing that they were doing like a couple weeks out. And I'm same song over and over. I'm just standing there after dinner, a little wine drunk, just bawling, looking at
like,
Norah Jones and her glory. I mean, I learned keys because I was like, she was so badass writing these songs on keys that were just like real and fucking vulnerable and cool. And I, you know, learned a bunch of her songs as a kid, and now I'm like in New York with my partner watching. I'm just like, are you real? Well, unicorn woman, she's amazing, man. She's so epic.
Oh gosh, that's cool when it's like a full circle. I love that when we have, and it's not, people need to know, like, it's not just one moment. It's always a full circle with a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how cool. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate for season 2, episode 1.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, we're in season 2, people.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a real treat to be able to get real and vulnerable about things that not everybody feels comfortable talking about. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it should be a normal thing.
Yeah.
And I keep repeating that over and over until like people get like it's normal. It's okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's a wrap.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. Thank you so much for joining us and listening. Don't forget to like, comment, leave a review, follow us on socials, and subscribe because you won't want to miss the magic.